Hi guys, it's Nancy, and there are some exclusive products coming to Spellbinders only available at Spellbinders. So, first off, I want to tell you, I did do a video showing all of them in one video, but I have to save that video until November. So you will see that video for November 10th. And the reason is this 4-petal sunflower frame is not going to be available in the October release. It will be in the November release. So if you saw it in any of my October videos, I do apologize. They pushed back the release date. And like I said, the video will come out in November. And you'll see it, and it's beautiful, so you can put it on your, follow-up later list. Here is the outcome of that one. So beautiful plate, but it won't be available until November. So we're going to put this one away. But we are going to play with the other Betterpress plate, which is called Merry Christmas to You Card Front. This is available now. You can purchase it for $21.99 on Spellbinders website. It is only going to be available on the Spellbinders website. It will not be available at any of their other storefronts, just the Spellbinders. But it's a beautiful, large card front. Here I used it with the Spellbinders exclusive poinsettia bells and border. There is a video I did just on this, and I show a couple of different ways to use this beautiful embossing folder. I did 3 cards. Missing one. I think I tell you, all of these products have made it so easy this year for me to get cards put together in a very quick fashion, easy way. And now I can't find that one. Oh, it'll turn up. All right, anyway, moving on. So in the meantime, these are the 2 that I made. This one I made a flip folding, and there's the Betterpress plate we're going to play with. And then this one I did a tri-fold. And then I did another one, and it just had, I just cut it off basically. Oh, here it is. And this new Glimmer Sentiment is brand new from Simon Hurley Create. So 3 different cards I made with this embossing folder. Okay, and that is called the Poinsettia Bells and Border Embossing Folder. Again, that is only exclusively at Spellbinders. So 3 things are exclusively at Spellbinders. The 3D Poinsettia Bells and Border Embossing Folder, the Merry Christmas to You Card Front Betterpress plate, and then in November will be the 4-petal sunflower frame. And I think there's also a hot wax seal, Merry Christmas wax seal. I don't have that. But let's play with this Betterpress plate today. So to use the Betterpress plate, what I am using is Spellbinders Platinum. You can use the Spellbinders. This is the black one from scrapbook.com. You can also use your Big Shot. You do not have to have this Betterpress plate system to do letterpress, but I tell you, it makes things so much easier. So if you don't have this on your Christmas list, I would definitely add it. When you get this, the basic set is going to come with your base, and this is a magnetic base. So this is a pretty heavy base, and this is what's going to keep everything pretty stable for you. Then you're going to have 3 shims. I normally only need 1 or 2 shims, so I have the 3rd shim in my box. I keep everything stored in the box. And then this is kind of the secret here, as you can see how everything's sticking to it. This is actually magnetic. So if you do normal letterpress, you kind of have to tape everything down or use double adhesive tape. Well, with this, because this is magnetic, it holds the plate in place, so you don't have to worry about the plate moving at all. And if you didn't know, these plates, you can also foil them in the Glimmer system or any hot foiling system you have, so they serve double duty. Now, recently, they also launched that you can buy an extra magnetic plate and an extra top plate. It is normal for this top plate to get a little bit of what I call ghosting or indentation in there. If you see a lot of that happening, remove some of your shims. But you can, and this is normal too, for it to get kind of inked up. just wipe it down. If it bothers you, you can buy a replacement of these, and you can buy a replacement top plate. It does not matter if you put this top plate, it's connected by little magnetic clips here, and they just sit on top of there, and it does not matter if you have it face down, face up, or if you have it turned upside down. It will always line up perfectly, so don't ever worry if you don't line it up correctly. It's not going to hurt anything. All you're going to do is place your plate down, flat side touches the magnet, and it has this marking for A2 and A7 cards, so you can line this up. Just press it a little bit right in the center there. So I have my top centered, my bottom centered. It looks like my center is centered, and that's pretty much ready to go. Now, to apply your paper, you want to use any kind of soft paper. Watercolor paper works great. They sell letterpress paper, but I have used regular cardstock. I have used black cardstock. But if you want that true letterpress indentation look, which is what letterpress does, you want a really soft watercolor cardstock. So use what you have. The letterpress paper comes in different sizes and different colors, and it seems to work the best. Now, one of the hacks I came up with very early on in this release is to use a piece of sticky grid. What you will see is most people will tape their paper on. But when you have something full size like this, and let's say it goes all the way to the corners, you may not be able to get that taped on. I don't advise putting tape on the back, because if you curl that piece of tape and put it on the back, what it could do is when this is impressing is it could leave an indentation from the tape. So I use a little piece of Sizzix sticky grid. Now they have two kinds. They have permanent and they have removable. You don't want the permanent one, okay? You don't want permanent. You want the removable kind, and it's pink here. And it says, is designed to align during die cutting. And a lot of people use this on their die cutting machines. There are also these small ones, but these are, again, permanent. Oops. See, permanent. So we want the non-permanent ones, okay? And I use these with my Misty tool. I use them with die cutting, and now I use them in my Betterpress. So I just cut, those are the larger sheets, I cut them down. And there are indentations here on the top plate here, your clear plate, which show you where your A2 size goes. Now this comes sandwiched between two little release sheets. So I'm going to remove one of the release sheets, and I'm going to just tuck that right into the corner there. Now, if you want it to fit exactly in there, you could cut this down. But as long as I can see those four corners, that's all that matters. Then we're going to remove the top release sheet. And this is good for, I would say, between 5 and 10 presses, depending on how porous your paper is. If your paper is really porous, then obviously it's going to shed, and that's going to dull your stickiness a little bit, right? But now I can line this up. I still see my little corners, and I'm going to put this in here. Okay, so now it's stuck on. And if your die cutting machine is a little too thick, remove another one or two of the shims that you have in the bottom here, okay? All right, so once we have our plate on, we have our paper on, stuck to our sticky grid, and I have it fully across there so that when it presses down, it's an even layer. You don't want your sticky grid to cut short, because if it's short or you only put it in the center, then your ink is going to miss there. Now, this piece of paper has a flaw in it. I don't exactly know how that happened. I think it's low enough that it's not going to affect my impression. So we should be okay. Okay, next step is just inking this up. Now, a lot of people say, do you have to use Betterpress ink? You do not. So currently, Spellbinders has these tins are the Tim Holtz archival ink tins. And they store 12 inks. and it's a nice size. I do use archival inks because you get a little bit more variety of color. So archival inks are similar, but these inks are manufactured by Ranger, and they're the exact same size. So you can buy an archival ink tin and you can store 12 inks in here. So right now they have 12, 13, 14, 15, and black. I have 2 blacks. So you get 16 colors of Betterpress inks, and they are coming out with more. Okay. I think for this one, I've already done it in red. So I'm going to go in with green, but I don't want to use the Betterpress green because it's a really bright green. So I'm going to use the archival ink and peeled paint. I have also used other inks when I first got this, so check that out. I do think pigment inks work best. I really love the Lisa Horton interference inks because it gives you a nice little shimmer and shine. The little ink pads are great because it's the perfect size for you to get in here and you just do a little jiggle wiggle with your ink right on that ink pad. Now, when you're using the full-size ink pads, what will happen is you're going to get a little bit of over inking, and it's going to end up on the outside on your plates. So you just want to make sure you have a rag or cloth around to kind of clean that up. Now, the other thing is you want to make sure you are fully inked. This ink, archival ink, Betterpress ink, pigment inks, they do a very good job at sticking to this metallic material here, and they don't really bead up like traditional dye inks do. This ink is just a little bit stickier, so it does a very good job. So what we're going to do now is just magnetize our little top on. Now there's a little give in there. It's a little little spring-loaded system. So when we push this through, it will press that plate down. The top plate will go down, and it will imprint our image from the Betterpress onto our paper. We do not recommend running it through more than once because it could cause your plate to shift. And as you pull that out, kind of pull from the bottom. Try not to press down on this top plate because, again, you don't want a double impression. And then we're just going to lift this off. And you'll see we have this beautiful impression. And then I just use my little palette knife. I have a little metal palette knife. And just kind of scrape that off. Now, I have used regular watercolor paper and it turns out great. I've used the thicker paper. I've used thinner paper, but the Betterpress paper does make a difference because you not only do you get beautiful crisp images, but you get that indentation, and that's what makes this fun. Is not only is that a really beautiful print, but you actually get this pressed. It's hard to explain without you guys actually being able to touch it, but it's actually impressed in there. I guess it's embossed. All right, so let's do another one, and I'm going to change up my inks, and I'm going to change up, I have a piece of black cardstock here. This is just regular black cardstock that I just use for stamping. Is that the right size? It's a little smaller, but that's okay. I must have cut it to the wrong size. But I want to show you how cool that looks with the inks. Now I'm just using regular stamp cleaner. Take a soft rag, microfiber towel, and just wipe that down. Again, if you have any excess ink, it will stain. It's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. All right, so this is one of those Lisa Horton dye interference inks. And on white paper, it shows as this orangey ripe mango. But on dark cardstock, it has green shimmer. So we're going to see if we can get that green shimmer to come out on our black cardstock. So you can see that ink's going down orange. But these have a mica built in. I am obsessed obsessed with these inks. There's 24 colors right now. But they are a very beautiful addition to using with the Betterpress plates. Now, see, that's a full-size ink pad, so I have ink all over, and I don't want that ink to transfer to my paper, so I'm just going to take my rag and kind of clean that up. All right, and then hopefully I have this lined up close enough. And again, this is just regular cardstock. And I'm not going to press down on that. I don't want that to impress my ink yet. And then we're just going to crank it through. There's no heat. There's no electricity. There's nothing special you need other than paper and ink. That's it. And I like these larger plates because I don't have to color them. They make a statement on their own in their card front size. Look at that. See how it's orange on white, and then you can see that green shimmer? Really cool. Really cool. So hopefully this will encourage you to check out the Betterpress system. I didn't think I was going to like it, you guys. I really thought, and I've shown videos where you don't need this system to do the letterpress effect. I've shown videos just using your die cutting machine and an embossing mat. But since I've gotten this system, I've gotten a lot of use out of it, and I really, really love these plates because I can foil them. And you guys know I love foiling. So the fact that I can not only print with them and get this indented texture that's really cool, print with them and just get cool colors of ink to pop through, and also foil with them, it's a really, really cool thing. But the Betterpress system, if you don't have it on your list, put it on your Christmas list as something. It's really not that expensive once you get the basic system. And again, you can use watercolor paper that you probably already have in your stash, and you can use the inks that you probably already have in your stash without having to put too much extra expense into it. If you have any questions, post them down below. If you are interested in the Betterpress plate, again, this one is called Merry Christmas to You Card Front Betterpress plate, and go check it out, exclusive to Spellbinders. Thanks for watching, guys. If you had fun, give me a thumbs up before you go. Bye-bye.